has taught us about the e-learning, flipped learning network, and as well as how to download Google Meet app from the Play Store. Today, he is going to talk about function of Google Classroom, learn to create and join course in the Google Classroom, and to know about different Google apps, and also to understand the use of different Google apps, and learn about managing classwork. So I welcome Dr. Rohit Sinha for his address.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure today to report to you today this second session of uh, the Google Classroom. Right. So we all know that COVID-19 has certainly thrown a lot of challenges to all the teaching fraternity, be it a school, college, or a university. We also know that frequent lockdowns and inability of the students to come regularly to the classes and the need for the faculty to teach in an interactive classroom environment is a challenge all of us are facing as of now. And now to face it smartly, one needs to understand the importance of virtual classroom, which have to be interactive and student-centric. Most of the schools and colleges have therefore opted for many virtual meeting platforms, which they have converted as per their needs to run classrooms, and Google Classroom is one such platform. Old classroom teaching method has now been replaced by smart virtual classrooms. Soon even our college will have to switch to a virtual classroom mode, where each of us will have to teach, collaborate, give assignments in a virtual mode. Some of us will also have to unlearn the old method of teaching and relearn the new concept of virtual teaching. So this session will help us to relearn the new way of virtual teaching. Google Classroom is the easiest answer to this new way of teaching. So the objective for today will be to expose the participants to various functions of Google Classroom. We will also learn how to create and join into a Google Classroom, and this will all be a hands-on experience whereby each one of us would be doing it either on the laptop or on your mobile phones, and I will be showing you the way how to do it, and you will be doing it along with me. You would also be trying to understand the use of different Google apps. This is just an introductory class, so we will be taking some few Google apps. And of course, we will be learning about how to manage the classroom. Once you see what Google Classroom is, most of us think that it is more of taking and less of teaching. So when we are talking about of a virtual platform, suddenly a nerdy techie image emerges in front of us. Some of us even think we are not none, but consider this, we are all using smartphones, tablets, laptops in our day-to-day activity, right? We are all have become techie and nerdy, and thus Google Classroom is nothing but just an extension of the use of these smart tech. So in a systemized way, of course, which we will see later today. Before we go any further, let me give you a little background of what Google Classroom is. Right? So Google introduced this classroom way back in May 2014. They asked educators to give it a try. The response the Google got was exciting. They had around 1 lakh educators from more than 45 countries signed up for a preview. This today, Google have opened Classroom to all Google apps for education users, helping teachers spend more time teaching and less time shuffling papers. One of the first schools to use Classroom was Foncon Hall Academy in Brooklyn, New York. And let me just remind all our participants that Sister Rosemary Delero at that time was 60 years old, who had been teaching there and had never used computers with her students before Classroom was introduced at her school. But Google Classroom made it so easy for her to assign digital worksheets to students in her Italian class and provided the direct feedback to help them learn. In fact, after a few weeks, Sister Rosemary was showing the other teachers how to use it. So this is what it is: unlearn and relearn. You can stay in teaching, she said. This is, I'm quoting her. You can stay in teaching and keep going to the old way, she says. But Google Classroom is a simple and anybody can master it without any hassles. The youth today is smart and are powered with smartphones, and therefore the text comes easy to them. So, what makes Google Classroom teaching so fun, productive, and meaningful? See, it streamlines assignments. We have all done this in our previous session. It just a recap of what we did yesterday. It boosts the collaborative work, and of course, it also fosters communication. The educators then can create classes. It can distribute assignments, send feedback, and see everything in one place. Classroom also seamlessly integrates with other Google tools, which we will see now after some time, how you are going to use Google Docs and Drive in Google Classroom. So
थेरेपी इसके लिए मैं वो रख देती हूँ
there, right.
नर्स
As Classroom also seamlessly
पक्का
integrates
दिन में ठीक हो
other
जाएगी किसी
Google
की बीमारी
tools like
फिर
Google
बोलती
Docs and Drives,
हो
there
जाएगा
is no problem of storing of handouts.
उससे तुम कुछ बना सकती हो
And
जैसे
assignments which Google Docs take care of, and Google Drives gives a cloud space to store all the files, which can be used by students later for even
पेपर बैग
reference.
बनाया
So what is a Google Classroom? It is an on-cloud platform which makes possible for teachers and students to collaborate and communicate from anywhere, anytime. The Google Drive sits between you and the interface, that is the platform which you're using, your computer, and it is connecting you to the Google Classroom. Google Classroom is the result of Google bundling the calendar with Google Calendar, the Google Drive, Gmail, and other services into something simple for all teachers to share. The top features in this Google Classroom is the assignment manager, which actually eases tasks for both students and teachers. And I shall show you how you can do that and how this manager works. And of course, the most important part in this is the sharing and broadcasting of ideas. We were talking about the flip learning yesterday, and I had said that flip learning is one critical aspect in virtual teaching, and this broadcasting of ideas across classroom via announcement helps you in building your flip learning in Google Classrooms. So the next question which comes to us is what we can do with Classroom. The Google Classroom gives us a 4 hierarchy in which it works. It works for the teachers, then it works on the student platform, there's a guardian platform, and of course there's an administrator platform. What is a teacher platform? It is in this, under this you can create, manage classes, you can give assignments, that assignments can be graded also. You can get direct feedback from your students, and the grades even you can give, and you can ask students to look at their grades. Now, what the students get out of this? The students are able to track their classwork material. So suppose if I intend to give handouts to my students, all I need to do is go on to the Google Drive, share it with my students, and the students can download those handouts. It is just as easy as that. You don't need to print anything. You don't need to photocopy anything. It is as simple as that. You even don't need to send it by email. So other resources, when we are talking about other resources, the Google gives us a class stream in which you can show videos. You can even upload different kind of resources. For example, a science classroom will not look like a BCom or a BA classroom, whereby you would require us to draw diagrams, whereby you would want to show your students how a particular thing is done, and therefore the board is required. So in that case, Google gives us a Jamboard whereby you can use the Jamboard for drawing, for showing, and therefore the resources for students Jamboard here is there, where you can show certain things to your students. The assignments which is also in real time. As soon as you put up an assignment, the student is able to look at it. Whatever the task is given, he or she submits the assignment, and you at that very moment are getting the assignment. You are not waiting for a long period of time. Of course, it is entirely upon you whether you wish to grade it at that moment, or you can take your own time to grade it and give them back. So the feedback generation also, and feedback of grades is also there. You can use MCQs, you can use quizzes here. Google Docs helps you in using Google quizzes, and you can use that platform to create an awareness, as well as you can also make your class more interactive. Now, Google gives one very good thing. It gives guardians or parents of your students can also be involved. How do we do that? It gives us guardians can become a part of Google Classroom. All you need to do is that you assign a guardian to a particular student, and he or she must have a separate email ID. That is what it is required. Therefore, another account, not at your end, not at our end, but at the end of the student, they need to have a separate email ID of the parent, and the parents will get the report card of their students, of their wards rather. So like in previously, we used to have PTM in our college. You don't need to have PTM now. All you need to do is that you need to assign a guardian. If a particular person is not coming in the class, you can send the feedback uh, to the guardian, and the guardian will come to know that his ward is either not coming to the class or has been absent for so many days. Finally, the administrator, every platform needs to have an administrator. So the administrator has all the powers. She can either delete a domain and keep the domain, can keep the class. He can also remove students if he or she wishes to do that. So what is the crux? What is Google Classroom? What do we actually do in a classroom? We either create a course or we join a course, right? We add participants, that could be our students, right? We can invite participants. The invitation of participants is invitation of teachers as co-teachers in your classroom. Suppose in my stats class, I require a specialized knowledge about a particular topic, and I request X faculty to come and share his experiences in my class. All I need to do is I need to make him or her a co-teacher, and he or she can come and take that particular class. Keep that in mind. If you are the primary teacher, the co-teacher cannot become hierarchical greater than you. The primary teacher will remain in control of the class, and the assistant or the co-teacher will not remain in control of the class. You as a primary teacher will always remain in control of your class. Right. So let us go to create a class. So the first thing we need to do in a classroom is create a class for each of the classes we teach. And in class, you can assign work and post announcement to students. This is very important. Anyone over 18 can create a class. You can read the guidelines in Google Classroom. They have listed it out there, and you can see a class using a personal Google account. However, like our college has this G Suite for education account, then one should use that G Suite for education account, because are given there, whereas your own personal Google account, you will find, and I will show it to you right now, how that personal account is inferior to a G Suite for education account, right? Let us come to the creation of a class. I would request the participants to take down these steps. I will be doing these steps along with you. So this will be a ready reckoner for you, and later on when you need to practice, what we need to do, the first step we need to do is we need to go to www.classroom.google.com, right? So you can do that. On the classes pages, we see on the class, this will open up. I'll just show to you. A page will open up and it would look something like this. There would be a plus button like this, right? And as you click on it, it will say create a class. And then class dialog box will open up. Something like this will open up in front of you. So we will be putting all the information inside this classroom. Let us do it. So let me do this in front of you so that you are able to see this. I already have a Google account. So I will just type www.classroom.google.com and see it takes me to my account. And if you are using it for the first time, it will take you to a Google Classroom mode where it will be asking you to sign up with an account. I already have an account here, so I will be using this account. As soon as I click on it, it is asking my password. I've already typed through. my password, and look, you have this. If you remember, I had shown you this. This dialog box opens up, and this is what we are seeing right now. This is the dialog box. See, it is showing you to create or join your first classroom. Since this account doesn't have any classroom, I have not added any classroom in this account. It is a clean account. I will be doing it with you. So what we need to do is we need to click. So you will get two options. The first is to join a class and the other is to create a class. The join class is for students. You will not use this unless until you are a student. We need to create a class. So what we'll do is we'll create a class. As soon as I click on the create class, the create class dialog box opens up. So let me put this. I will use Google Classroom. Google Class, right? We will leave the section. If you wish to leave the section, these sections will not come blank to the students. So let us say section 1, right? And I say in Google Classroom. You can put here. So instead of this, I could even put BCom section 1, or I can say business communication. And since we are teaching in CR1, I'll say CR1. So I say this is BCom part 1, section 1, whatever sections you have made in your own departments, you can put that. And I say business communication, and I say room CR1, and I click this create tab. So you can see the Google is creating. It will take some time, and suddenly this is what it gives. It gives you a dialog box. It says that this is a new classroom. Since we had never made any classroom before, this is the first classroom we made. So it gives you this. And it also gives you what you can do with your Google Classroom. It gives you what I've talked about of grading, and it talks about testing drive and rubrics, and you can do originality and SSI grading system, and you can do a n number of things with it. And I will not be going into this. I will be going with this tomorrow when we do the advanced Google class. Today we are doing the introductory part, so I'm not going into that. So I'll just say got it. So you can see we have created our first Google Classroom. Now, the Google Classroom has one very good thing. It has a class code. You see, the class code is here. If you see onto your left-hand portion, there is a small square blank. It is a blank square, right? And it says DTUHZIM. This is the class code. This is what we share with our students. So if you wish to display it, you can display it. This is what it is. So for my BCom Part 1 students, if I want them to join this particular class, all I need to do is I need to copy this and send it across to them, and they can join through this particular mode. I would request the participants to kindly log into the classroom using this particular code. I'll give you 1 minute to do it. Right. Now, so the Google Classroom automatically creates a class code when you create a class, and you can display the code to invite students and other teachers also. So if you are asking teachers to be a part of it, this particular code has to be displayed to them either through mail, or you can text it also across. Now, if you see in this Google Classroom, automatically it is coming on the streaming tab. The stream tab is whatever is going on in your class. Whatever is going on in your class, it is here, which you will see. right? Now, if we are going to see how classroom automatically creates a class, we've already seen. Now, if your students have a problem of they are not able to join, or if you want some new students, you don't want new students to join your class, then you can do something with it. There's a setting tab. This is, if you see, this is a setting tab. It's a universal setting tab. All of us are quite understand this setting tab. We even see it in our mobile phones. All you need to do is you need to click on it, and when you click on it, the complete information about your class is given to you. I will come to the general tab. See, there is a general tab out here. The general tab uh, shows you many things, right? Here it is. So if you see, the class code is given to you, right? Now, by default, it is display. I don't want my students to see this class code. Probably I have already set my class for a date which is not later on, it would come. What I need to do is I can disable it, right? So the class code, if you see, if I go back, so the class code here, you see, it shows disabled. Your students won't be able to gain access into the class since the class is disabled. Now, if I wish to reset this class code, right? All I need to do is first enable it. Did you see something happening? Right? Did you see something happening? If you remember, the previous code was not this. This is the new code. As soon as you enable your class, Google automatically creates a new code. The old code will not function. The new code will be functional then, right? And you don't need to do this even. If I wish to change the code each day, I want my classroom to have a different code each day so that the students don't know my code. So all I need to do is reset it. See, as soon as I reset it, a new code comes. And therefore the students will not be able to gain access into the classroom. You can even copy this particular code and send it across to your co-teachers. Of course, you need to save it. And since I've already done it, I don't need to save right now. Right. Now, there's other provisions in this classroom. The Google Classroom gives your classroom administrator, as an administrator, you can create classes for yourself and add students. Of course, we do that. You can also be created by your administrator. So if the college does it for you, the college can also do it for you. And all they need to do is create a class for you and give you the class code, and you can access and go and teach the class. It is also provisioned here. Activate a provisioned class. Suppose you haven't made this class, but the administrator on his part or her part has made a class for you and want you to go and teach that particular class. So in that case, she will send you an email, and you will get an email, and you need to click on that particular email and you will be able to access this particular class. So if I need to add, see, I've got a lot of students as a teacher, as students here. I've got Dr. Neelia as a student. I have Dr. David here as, and Dr. Rachita Sharma as. I've got 3 students in the class. You can see this. They use the class code and they were able to access it. So we have got 3 students in this class. So you can see the and the teachers tab, you see the name, you see my name. Now, if I wish to invite a teacher, so I would request any one participant to send his or her email so that I can invite you as a teacher and you can see it out here. I think the chat box would be open for few minutes so that one of you can send an email across to me and I can invite you as a teacher. The chat box could. I'm waiting for someone to send across an email at ID.
Already people have sent email
Okay,
IDs there.
okay. I have your email IDs. I'm just going to add one of you as a teacher, right? I'm going to add. I've got Dr. Ruchit Rai's ID, so I will add him up. All I need to do is copy it, right? And I need to paste it out here. It shows rochitrai@gmail.com, right? And I need to invite him. So
I think the person should have G Suite identity.
yes, we need to have a G Suite ID for this. I will try to do
Uh,
it with my own ID.
let me send you
It
my
will be
ID.
easy. Yes, sir, I can use your ID. Fine, sir. ID card?
Yeah, just see if it works.
Right. So you can see I've invited a principal to be a co-teacher. And you can see I'm the primary person out here and Professor SP Singh has been invited into this class to teach, right? The there are certain common tasks which we assign and which we do. We assign as we have since seen substitute and assistant teacher. So at times in your class, suppose someone is not available in your class, you are not available in the class, and you need someone to take your class on your behalf. So what you can do is you can make that person as a substitute teacher, or you can ask particular person to be an assistant teacher, as we did it right now. That person then can come in the class. He doesn't need to create a class. He doesn't need to do anything. All he need to do is to step into your shoes and teach the class. This is what it is. So this activation, a provisional class is visible to students, right? And the co-teacher, of course, has to accept the class. If you send an invitation and that person is not ready to take the class, he can decline also. So you see, he needs to accept it. So once I send a mail to sir, he needs to accept it also. If he declines, in that case, you will not have a substitute teacher. The teacher needs to accept it. So once he is accepted, the confirmed number of students then can have the class activated, and they can, of course, they can see the next class. Now, the next portion in this is how do we change class details for teacher. So basic information we have seen. We have seen information like name and section. We have seen how we can put the roll on the room numbers. You can also see the settings of the stream page. I've shown you what your stream page is. It is just a tab where you are putting everything. It is just like a chatter box where the students and teachers, everyone is talking, and it is put up and you can see what is going on in the class. You can also put the video links. Whatever video links you are going to put will come in your streaming section. Of course, you have seen how your class code functions. You can also change the details in your setting page. So I will be doing right now, how we will be doing this right now, how we will change the details. Now, if I need to edit certain class informations, so again, we need to go to the Google Classroom. On the class card, we will go to edit. Then we are going to give a new name, section or subject, or you can change, and of course you can click save. You can even display a profile photograph of yourself if you wish that your students should be associated with you, as they are associated in a contact class, because they are able to see us, and which makes it more personal. You can make your classroom more personal by displaying your profile photo. And by default, your Gmail profile picture is put, right? You can change that, and you can upload it, and we'll do it right now. So if I need to edit class information, what I need to do is I need to go to classes. You see, once I go back, it is taking me back to the Google Classroom board. This is my classes. You can see the class. It shows me I have 3 students, right? There is this 3 buttons, 3 dots out here, right? We click on it. Once you click on it, the edit tab comes. See, this edit tab comes. All I need to do is edit, and I can edit my information. So if I want to change this into a MCOM, if you wish to change the details of your class, you can change the details of your class. Suppose you are teaching 2-3 subjects to a particular class. All you need to, and you don't need to keep on making different classes for it. Or you can either rename the class, or as we can copy the class. We will be doing the copying of a class also right now. But what you can do is you can change the class name, you can change the subject, and you can change the settings, and you can say save. So this will save, right? If you remember, there was no dot out here. There was a comma which I had purposely put. So I've changed that comma to a dot out here. Now, once you have done this, we can also edit the description and section, rooms and subjects. We have already seen that. And we can also change the names automatically by saving it. If we change the name of the class, we will change the class details. So you can change the class details by using the settings tab within the classroom. So you don't need to go outside the classroom, or you can go directly to the classroom. See, you can go directly to the classroom. We don't need to go there. I can go there directly to the classroom, all I need to do is go to the settings, right? In settings, I can change. So either you can do it within the classroom, change the details, or you can do it from outside the classroom. Both ways you can do it. As I said already, that the blank fields, if I leave certain blank fields, let me leave certain blank fields so that you are able. So suppose I remove section. I don't put section and I save. Right. So in that case, see this, the students will not be able to see the section part. You will not see the blank spaces which you have put. And Google takes this into account, that all the blank fields which you leave vacant are not shown in your class. There are certain limitations to this also. What are the limitations of using a Google Class? Let us see. And they are very, very important for us to understand. As a security measure, some activities in classroom have limits depending on the type of account we have. So like we have a G Suite account and a personal Google account. Everyone has a personal Google account, but what is a G Suite account? It is an account which the college provides, right? Like I have. So teachers per class in a Google G Suite is 20. So you can have teachers per class. Each class per class can have 20 teachers, whereas a personal Google account can also have. But once we move to the class members, that is the students, you see the difference. You can accommodate 250 students in your personal Google account. Whereas if you have a G Suite account, 1000 is the limit. So 1000 students can be accommodated in a single class, right? And students can also join. If you have a G Suite account, 1000 students can join a class. But if you have a personal Google account, then 100 is the maximum, 30 per day. That is maximum you can take 100 students, and that is 30 students in different classes of 100, of total number of 100 in that. So how many classes you can create if you have a G Suite? There is no limit for a G Suite account, but only 30 classes per day you can create if you have a personal account. Like invitations, as I said, I had sent an invitation to Professor SP Singh to come and teach in the class. So in that case, there are 500 per day invitations you can send, right? If you have a G Suite account, whereas in a personal account, only hundreds teachers can be accommodated in a particular class. We do not have that number of teachers in a college who come and take classes, 500 teachers coming or probably 100 teachers coming in a class. But there are universities in India and abroad where collaborative work goes on. And that since they are into collaborative teaching and flipped learning classes, they require more than one person, at times more than 100 skilled lectures to be presented to their learners. And in that case, the number of teachers per day, Google has limited to 100 in a Google account, whereas 500 is there for a G Suite account. Now, I had talked about the guardians per student, right? So the G Suite gives 20 guardians per student. That means if a student wishes to change, he wants you that the particular data or what grades you're sending to his house probably can have a limit of 20, whereas this feature is not available in your normal Gmail account. Email address visibility, of course, there is no limit here. You can see as many people as you are involving you. There is no limit to it, whereas this feature is not available. Now, there is one thing one must note while using the Google Classroom. You can invite not more than 20 teachers, but only 20 teachers can join the class. What does this actually mean? It means that if I'm using groups, right? And in groups, I have broken it down. So, and we Indians are good at jugaads, right? We are good at breaking down different classes, and we want certain members to come into our classes, right, to teach. In that case, what Google will do, they will keep a track of how many teachers are coming into a particular group and teaching. So they will limit it. They have limited 20 teachers, right? Whereas each person in a group can only be put in one group. For example, there are 40 students in a class, in my class, and a person can be put in certain groups. I cannot put him in 100 different groups. So since we are using their email IDs as a reference, the Google will be able to identify it through the Gmail accounts which you will be uploading. So you cannot do that. Of course, what students can do is that you can have multiple Gmail accounts. That is another issue, of course. And they can join the classes. But if we are looking at as Google does it, that each person has a one account, and we are authorizing that one account, so you cannot use it in different groups. So it has been restricted to a number of groups. So if you invite a group class or a class teacher or as a co-teacher, the group must have 10 or few members. So you're asking someone to come and teach your class. You're also taking someone else's class. You're already there. You can have 10 or fewer members. And these policies and group policies and limits, you can go and check it out on Google website. Now, there is this copying of a class, as I had talked about. What does a copying of a class means? Suppose I am teaching an MCOM class. I'm advanced stats in MCOM previous, and I'm also teaching advanced stats in MCOM final. Similarly, you could have such similar kinds of classes in your own discipline, and the number of students are probably same or could be different, but the content is same. Now in that, what I can do is I can add or copy this class and make it for an MCOM final class. So whatever content I have will automatically be given to the MCOM final class. So if I've taught in MCOM previous and I need to make also for MCOM final, I don't need to create a new class for them. All I need to do is copy MCOM previous and take it to MCOM final. Of course, the students, the groups, I will have to change, but the content which I have uploaded for my MCOM previous class will remain same for the MCOM final class. So what we get out of it? So this is one time saving thing where we don't need to keep on typing, or you don't need to keep on uploading endlessly. All you need to do is you need to copy. So even your grading system, your new classes and items of the original class, such as the post, the stream page where you are addressing people, the learners, where you're addressing how they have to go about doing different tasks, everything is copied, right? Now what? Only teachers and co-teachers can copy a class. So this is one thing. The teachers who copies the class becomes the actual primary owner of the class. You cannot copy active and archived classes. So for example, I'm already teaching a class, and while teaching a class, I want this to be copied. It cannot be done. That we cannot do it. You have to either end the class and then copy it, or you can, or if it is an archive, for example, I have scheduled a class to be held probably next week. This, and I have marked it on my Google Calendar. I cannot copy that class because that class has been marked for a particular day. That in that case, I have differentiated how and what things can be copied. See, so there are certain things which can be copied. The title will remain the same, the section will remain the same, the description will remain the same, whatever course subject you are teaching will remain the same, the topics which you have put up in the streaming will remain the same, the class post copied as drafts with no schedule date. See, I've written with no schedule date because if you're scheduling a particular class, it will not be copied. Google doesn't allow that. And even your grading system, if you have put MCQs in your class for students as an assignment, that can also be copied. What you cannot copy, right? Any particular announcements you have made pertaining to any task you have so defined, or you have deleted certain class items, right? I don't want certain some of my students to see the classwork I have given, or I feel that this classwork as I have given is not adequate enough, and so I've deleted it. In that case, that deleted class items will not show. The students and co-teachers, right? The co-teachers will not be copied. You will have to redo that again. If any student post is there, that will also not be copied, right? And attachments, which you do not give permission to copy. Suppose there is a copyright you have, and you have a copyright to a particular abstract or to a particular research paper or particular book you have, and you don't want it to be copied like that. What you can do is you can assign permissions to that particular abstract paper or research, whatever work you have done, and in that case it will not be copied. It will not be put into that next class. So people will have to ask permission from you, or either you will have to give permission to them to share, for sharing it, or for them to be readily available. So classroom actually takes, when we copy class, say suppose it is 1000 students, you're copying into a different class with all the assignments and gradings and links and videos. It is a huge and heavy amount of bulk which is uploaded, and so Google takes a lot of time in that. What we can do is that by the time it is being copied, Google will send you an email on your email ID that the class is now being converted, has been copied, and you can use the class. So you don't need to endlessly sit for it to be converted into, or to be copied into a different class, because it actually takes time depending on what you have uploaded in your class. I will show you how to copy a class. So once, to copy a class, how we do that? We of course go to our Google Classroom. Once you go to the Google Classroom, you see these three dots. The option of copy comes, right? You copy. It is asking you to rename the class. If you want the details, it is again asking you. If you wish to keep the same details, you can keep the same details. If you wish to change the details, you can change the details. And all you need to do is hit the copy tab, the button, and this class will be copied, right? As I said, it takes a bit of time. It is not done immediately. It takes a bit of a time. Let us, while Google is copying this particular class, see, it's copied. And you can see it says of BCom part 1, 0 students. It is not copying students. It is just copied the content of the complete class. Everything which you have is being put here. Now the MCOM final students can be put into this class. Or for example, MSc students, previous students previously were here, and you need to repeat that particular thing for MSc final students. So your MSc final students can be put up here, and the content of this BCom part 1 is same as that of the content. Whatever content you had in your previous class, it is same as that, right? Okay. So we have seen how to copy a class. We have also seen that copying a class is not that difficult. Though copying might take time, here we didn't have anything uploaded. We didn't have any heavy files uploaded, so it took not much of a time. Now let us choose how classwork notifications shows on your stream page. I've been talking about streaming. What exactly is streaming? We will come to that. So what is a stream? If you remember, when I had opened up my Google Classroom, this stream is written here. It is here. Again, what you need to do is you go to settings. On the settings tab, a tab will open up. It will open up something like this, and it will show you these three different things: show attachment and details. So students see an expanded view of notifications. It will show condensed notifications. Students see a condensed view of notifications. And there is another option is hide notifications, where no classwork notification shows on the stream page. This is basically the notifications which you are trying to give to your students, and their students, how they are able to view this. Let us do it. Let us go to the class. If you see the stream, my stream page is open. See, my stream page is open. I will go to the settings, right? And in the general box, there is classwork on stream. See, classwork on stream. So by default, Google shows attachments and details. Right? Attachment and details. And once you show attachment and detail, then in that case, whatever attachments the students are making, whatever attachments you are making in that particular classroom, everybody will be able to see. Oh, condensed notification, once you start showing condensed, so not all complete notifications you will see. Certain notification which you will approve will be seen. And of course, if you don't want any kind of streaming to come, you don't want any clutter or clutter, or you don't want people putting up unnecessary notifications in your class, what you can do is you can just hide the notification, and you can hit the save tab. And once you hit the save tab, it is done. So the important thing in this is that only teachers see assignments turn in, right? So if someone is turning in assignments, then only the teachers are able to see, and they are able to, the students are not able to see. Now, if we wish to control who shows the post and how my streaming should be, the students can post messages, of course, as I've said earlier, on the stream page, and comment and post from the classmates can also come. You can control the students, post by setting permissions. Again, you can set permissions for them. What you can do, again, you need to go to the settings tab. In the settings tab, we go to general, right? We say stream. See this option, stream. So it gives you three options. Students can post and comment. Students can only comment. Only teachers can post or comment. So depending on what kind of classroom you wish to have, you can use these three different ways of streaming. So in case you put students can post and comment, that means whatever students are posting, their others can also comment on it, and you can also comment on it. But if you say students can only comment, in that case, at times we put up questions or we use openers in our class. In that case, you can put an opener and say students can only comment, and wait for their responses and see. So in that way also you can use streaming. And once you say only teachers can post or comment, in this case, what is going to happen is that the students will not be able to comment. They will only be able to see whatever you are posting. They will also be able to see things which you have posted only. It could be your assignments which you have posted. It could be certain files. In case of videos, it could be anything which you have posted on stream for students to see, right? So I'm not changing my streaming. See, if I change it, it actually says save. Every time once you change anything in in the classroom setting, the Google Classroom will ask you to save, and you need to save. You cannot exit without saving. So let me put it back to students can post comments, and I save. Now, the next thing which we need to see the deleted student posts. Now, what happens at times, we find that students in the class are posting things, and if you are teaching, you are not able to see certain posts. Probably there can be mischievous students also in the class. In that case, they think that once they have deleted their post, nobody can see it, but Google doesn't do that. The teacher has an opportunity also, as well as they can keep a track of whatever student posts have been deleted. So even if you have not seen it, you can very well keep a tag and tab as to what students have deleted. So how do we go about doing it? Again, you go to the settings tab. Under the general, there will be a tab called deleted items. We click the switch to the on position. So whatever things which were deleted will be shown. And if we don't wish to see, we can hide it. There is an option to hide it, and of course you can switch it off and you can hit save. So in the settings tab we are going, right? And in the settings tab we are going to the general, and you see here by default it is off. Google puts it in the position of off. So if I switch it on, and it says only teachers can view deleted items, it specifies that only teachers can see. Your students cannot see the deleted items. Even if they are deleting the items, you can still go and check out what they have done at only a click of a button, of course, and you click save, and it will be shown to you. Since nothing was deleted in this particular class, nothing was deleted in this particular class, so we are not able to see it as of now. But once you are deleting it, the students are deleting it, you will be able to see what actually has been deleted. This is a summary of how teachers join classroom. We've already done that. I'm trying to summarize it. So you invite a teacher, as I have shown how we invite a teacher. It could be to co-teach your class, right? How do we do that? You go to Google, go to classroom.google.com and click on sign in, and then you sign in through your Gmail account, personal account, or it could be your G Suite account. Then you click the class you want to add to. You add your co-teachers, or you wish to add your groups. You add that. At the top again, you click people, right? I've shown you that. You click people. You click invite teachers. As I had invited our principal, you can invite your teachers. You can enter the email addresses also and invite teachers or group. And from the list, click a teacher or group. If you already have a list, you've already invited teachers and you have a list already prepared, you can check the list and you can add from there as well, right? Now, we come to the next portion in this. So if we need to join in as a student or leave a class as a co-teacher, how do we do that? Now, this is from the students and a co-teacher's perspective. So A teacher can invite you to teach in their class as a co-teacher. As I said earlier, co-teachers can perform all the teacher tasks after they join in a class. However, the primary and co-teachers have different permissions in classrooms. So as a co-teacher, you can create assignments, but a co-teacher cannot delete a class. That is not the permission given to him, right? So if you think that if you are handing over your class to a co-teacher and that co-teacher might delete your class, he or she cannot do that because that permission is not given to him. A co-teacher can give feedback on student work. If you have given some kind of assignment to your student, the co-teacher can give a feedback, but he or she cannot remove the primary teacher from a class. No one can take you out of your class. You will remain the primary teacher, and the co-teacher cannot take on as a primary teacher in the class, except the administrator. The administrator can, of course, remove a primary teacher. He can remove a co-teacher. So the keeping the administrative and the administration out of it, you as a primary teacher cannot be removed by a co-teacher. Then the co-teacher can enter grades. We will be doing, once we will be doing MCQs and we'll be making Google Docs, and you will be doing that. Then you will see how grades are put in. And the co-teacher cannot mute another teacher in a class. So if you have two co-teachers in a class and they're simultaneously there present, they cannot mute another teacher, right? So they cannot do that. The co-teacher can access the Google Drive folder. Yes, he or she can access your Google Drive folder because the Google Drive is automatically connected to your Google Classroom. I will be doing Google Drive later on right now, and I will show it to you how it is connected to your Google Classroom. Then the emails and teachers and students, he can see. He can see the emails and the students who are present there, right? So what are certain important points here? So if you have a G Suite, and the administrator can allow teachers from the college to join the classes. If someone is having trouble being added to a class, she has to report either to admin to update the domains class or the membership settings. So if the admin has already decided that certain student cannot enter a class, or he's been debarred from entering a class, or he's been asked not to come into a class, that person cannot enter a class. Even as a primary teacher, you cannot allow that particular person to come into the class. That thing and that membership setting is with the administrator, and the administrator will then have to allow it. Since if she has been removed by the administrator, she has to be reinstated by the administrator. The primary or the co-teacher cannot do that. So if you leave a class, you teach, you can't open it again unless you are re-invited, right? So by mistake, if I leave a class, or if I leave my class, so I cannot rejoin my class again. I can reinvent the class again. I can make that class again, but I cannot go back to the same class. And for that to happen again, you will have to ask the administrator to re-invite you, or you have to enroll. If the student has been enrolled in the class, she also has to be re-invited. Now, how do we respond to an invitation to co-teach, right? Since we have already done this, just tell you how you do that. You go to the classroom.google.com. On the class card, you will choose an option to teach the class. You need to accept it again. If you don't want it, you need to decline it. So if you're a student in the class, decline doesn't remove you from the class. So if students are there, you put a student in there and he gets a mail that he needs to join the class, and he says, okay, I don't want to join this class. He cannot decline that offer. He will be a part of it. Only teachers can accept and decline the class. Students cannot accept or students cannot decline the class. So You can quickly accept or decline the invitation to co-teach by clicking the link in the email notification. As I said, you will get an email notification. If I put an email address, that notification comes in your email. Once you click on it and you accept, you get a notification that you've been added to the class. Now, if we share files with primary teacher before leaving a class, how do we share files if leaving a class? In the class drive folder, we need to be a teacher or a files or folders you need to add goes to the drive folder. Students can view this file and then share them, right? I will do it for you, that it is easier for you to understand it. Now, what I need to do is, I need to go to my classroom, right? I'm in my classwork. So you can see there's a class drive folder here, right? The class drive folder, I click on it. It takes me directly to my Google Drive, right? So you can see my drive, my Google Drive has been directly connected to my BCom Part 1 class, right? So you can drop your files here, whatever you wish to give to your students, whatever you material you wish to give to your students, you can drop it out here. And automatically, whatever things, whatever files, videos, PPTs, whatever you wish to say with your share with your classroom is shared out here. So this is how you do that, right? So what I do, how I do it, I'm telling you again, you go to the drive, you see this new tab, there's a plus sign out here. As soon as I say plus, it gives you an option either to upload a particular file, it gives you a folder to upload, it even gives you Google Docs, sheets, slides, and many more things to upload. You can even upload Google Forms, drawings, maps, sites. See this, there's this option of Google Jamboard I was talking about. This is actually the diagrams which you draw on your blackboard. You can draw it out here and you can post it for the students to see. Individually, you want certain things to be given to a particular group of people, you can do that also here. So through your drive, through your Google Drive, your Google Classroom accesses your drive, and through your drive, you can hand out different kind of documents, files to your classroom and to your students. Now, so we have seen how a class or co-teacher can leave, right? We've also seen how you can attach your Google account, Google Drive to your classroom. Let me bring out certain benefits of Google Classroom to you. These are certain benefits which you can derive out of your Google Classroom. It is, as you see, you've been doing it with me and you've been practicing certain things with me. It is very easy to do it. You do not require any particular kind of a tech knowledge. The classroom page that teachers and students can share information and assignments and questions through the Google Drive quite easily. It saves time and paper. Your teachers can create classes, they can distribute assignments, and if they can communicate and stay organized. This is all in one place. You are not going anywhere else. You are not using any kind of app. You're not going at any other platform. So in a way, you are better organized. Students can see the assignments to do on a day-to-day basis in the class stream, or if you have made a class calendar, they can virtually see all of it there. And since you are using your Google Drive folders, you're uploading it there, they can download it also there. So you don't need to give any handouts, you don't need to photocopy, they will do it at their own end. You just need to upload those those files in the Google Drive. We have an enhanced communication and feedback package also. You saw where the teachers can create assignments through Google Docs, which I just showed you a glimpse of it. Instantly start a discussion. You can instantly start a discussion in the streaming. Students can also share resources with each other. So they can, if you allow them to collaborate. So we were talking previously of collaborative work between students and teachers and students. So you can do it here. So this is how you are able to do it. And this happens in real time. And once you are grading the assignments, whatever your assignments you have given, you are able to grade your students also. We are working with Google apps which are embedded as a bundle for them. You are using the Google Docs, you are using the calendar, you're using Gmail, you're using the drives and forms, different kinds of forms we are using in it. So we don't need to download anything, we don't need to bundle anything more into it. Google has shared whatever it has into its Google Classroom, and of course it is free of cost. So this is affordable and secure. Google Suite, of course, has to be paid by the institution, whereas the free account which we normally have, that is the personal Gmail accounts you have, they are affordable because we don't need to pay. They are, of course, secured. You have seen, you can change the class code. You can disable it. Every time when you disable it, a new class code comes. And once you wish a particular class to join, you only need to do is you share your class code with them. There is one word of appreciation here for Google. There are no ads. If you say, we do not see ads coming in between. Normally apps which we use have ads coming in between, and which is bit problematic once you're teaching. And this is a word of caution. Please do not use your content or student data for advertising purposes. Google, if you go down the Google agreement and policies, they are asking us not to do that. And I've copied it from there. And they are asking data and advertising should not be done. And Google doesn't advise it, and neither they want us to do it. Finally, if you see, it is an easy setup. Teachers can set up a class. We set up a class. We've invited students. We've invited co-teachers. Right in the classwork page, we've shared how information regarding assignments and questions and materials can be put up in the streaming page. We will be doing this more tomorrow, how we will be putting assignments, questions and materials, how we actually do it, how teachers and students respond to it. We will be doing this tomorrow. But basically, if you see, we are able to do both the invitation part of the student and the invitation part of the co-teacher. These are some new features which we have in the Google Classroom. It is an embedded one, and the calendar is there. So if I need to schedule a class a day prior or probably a week ahead, I can do that with a Google Calendar. I'll be showing you how to do that tomorrow in advanced Google Classroom. You can post a quiz or test. You can even test your students here. You can have discussion activities across multiple classes, not one class, but multiple classes you can collaborate with. Students can also collaborate. You can create an all school or all grade level program. So if we are into grading, you can grade them accordingly. And you can also have a forum for it, whereby this grading can be done easily. We can use a photo to create an assignment. You don't need to type in. All you need to do, if you have already written it somewhere and you don't want it, you can either scan it or you can use your smartphones to click a photograph. All you need to do is just upload it and it would be uploaded. It is as simple as that. You don't need to sit hours and hours and type your assignments. So if someone is there who is not very well versed at typing, and probably a Hindi classroom is there and not everyone knows how to type in Hindi. What we can do is that we can write on a paper, and you can take a photograph and you can upload it. Similarly, students can also do the same. And they can write on a paper and they can answer you back on a paper and upload the same on your classroom. So, and finally, the class uses a photo as a bulletin board. Why your photograph comes, right? Why it uses a photograph as a bulletin board, so people know who's teaching the class. This is very important. One should know who's taking the class. Finally, there are exit tickets and bell ringer activities. I will be just doing this. What is an exit ticket and a bell ringer activity in a Google Classroom? You can host out of a viewing party if you don't want that. You wish to see certain things and you don't want to view. You can do that. You want to find evidence of post we've already seen. You can delete. People have deleted. Students have deleted a post. You can retrieve it back and you can see. You can also offer video reflections. We were talking about reflections yesterday when we were doing flipped learning and we were doing the Bloom's taxonomy. In that case, those reflections which we talked about, you can do it out here. The complete flip learning package is here. All you need to do is integrate it into your virtual classroom. You can create a new assignment from templates. There are templates. I will be showing you tomorrow what templates are available here in Google Classroom, and you can use those ready-made templates for your classes, and you don't need to make anything new. And if you find those templates are suitable enough for your classes, you can use those templates. Google allows you to do that. And of course, it is an easy reminder with a couple of clicks. You don't need to do much. You don't need to program it. You don't need any kind of programming language. You don't need to know programming. All has been bundled, and all you need to do is click on it, and it is as good as done. Now, if you remember, what is a bell ringer activity? Generally, when we start a class, bell ringers are actually warm-up activities. So what students complete at the beginning of a class. Normally, this happens in a school. In a college, it doesn't happen much. When a bell rings, students end up in a classroom, and most of them are talking. So teachers want some kind of silence in the class. So what they do is they generally allow students to give an activity. So thereby they are engrossed in that activity. For example, a language or an arts teacher can use journal entries. So we were doing the journaling part, if you remember. Yesterday we were doing the journaling part, and we can use that journaling here and use it as a journal bell ringer activity. So what it is a successful learning environment. It creates an environment for the students. Similarly, if they're since they are in their homes and in their comfort zone, probably all of them have come together and there is a lot of commotion in the class going on, and you don't want that commotion in the class. What you can do is you can use the bell ringer activity to bring some activity into the class, and you want some students to start warming up for the activities you want to hold in your class next. So what is an exit ticket? Exit ticket is just the opposite of the bell ringer activity. It is simply a question that you pose to the class at the ending. So if you remember, when we were doing the flip learning, when we post a question, you have taken a step ahead. You are expecting your students to know. Probably you want them to come prepared in the next class, and that creative flip learning class you've already started. So if you're leaving something behind by asking a question, asking them to come back prepared in the next class, you've already incorporated the flip learning and some portions of the Bloom's taxonomy into your classrooms. Finally, what does Google Classroom does? It streamlines the management of the work of students. How do we do that? Two parts to it, the announcing part and the grading part. The announcing part is assigning of a different kind of things you want. Suppose if I'm teaching business communication and I'm teaching barriers to communication. So I would expect my students to know the basics of what communications is. I would know that they would have studied communication in class 12 coming into BCom part 1. So I would be announcing certain things which they have already learned in their previous classes, right? And or I could assign them a task. I can say, fine, kindly tell me the basic communication model, and that is an assigning. And I can see and collect how many of those students actually are able to understand the basic of that model. If they are able to respond to my question, I can understand very well that yes, certain few people in the class know about it. Or if none of them are able to answer it, I can very well understand that fine, there's something which needs to be taught again. When we are talking about the grading aspect, it is actually giving a feedback. This feedback is both in terms of the student as well as the teacher. How the student, you're grading the student assignment, you're giving them marks, and therefore the feedback's coming to the student. Whereas students also give us feedback. Feedback in the terms of we are putting up questions, they are able to answer it. Feedback in terms of assignments which we have done and whether they have turned it in or not, that is there. So this is the feedback. And finally, returning. What is returning? Returning is we are coming back and telling our students how they can work out better, how they can do things better, why they are lacking in a particular thing, or you want them to improve on a particular aspect, you can do that. So in all, you see, we have saved many hours of work. Normally, in a contact classroom, these things take a lot of time. Normally, teachers use a lot of time in assigning, collecting, then giving back the assignments and taking the feedback, the children coming back and students coming back and giving us the feedback. So it takes a lot of time. Whereas here in a Google Classroom, this is very easy to do. You don't need to spend many hours of work. So grading assignments are easy rather than in a contact class. Now, how can Google Classroom support differentiation in the classroom? So Google Classroom helps in streamlining formative assessment. What is a formative assessment? It is helping students who might need more support, right? There are weak students in the class or extra challenges for those who are the brainy ones, who think they know everything in the class, probably knows better than the teacher. So you can give them challenges there, or you can use this platform to quickly create and distribute and collect digital exit tickets or auto-graded assessments, right? In a way, Google Classroom can make it easier and faster to gather regular feedbacks on how your students are progressing. Of course, there are plenty of other formats of assessment tools which are available here. There are many of which now Google is thinking of integrating with the classroom, and probably in later stages, we will find those integrations taking place, because Google is also evolving over a period of time. And since whenever it evolves, it is going to evolve, it will bring a new level playing fields in its Google Classroom. When we say that it is easier to customize assignments for individual students, for small groups, we mean that teachers can give modified or differing assignments to certain students. or groups in a class. You also have the option to check in with a student privately here. So if you want to check on a student that who's not working properly, you can send an email across. It will go directly to him even, and whatever he is going to respond in a Google Classroom, that would be coming directly to you. No one knows what that particular person or student has given an assignment, and you can recheck that assignment, probably help him. Or if you find a student who has come after an illness and needs much more pushing and needs much more attention, then you can do that here as well. The option to do all of this online makes the teacher's effort at differentiation less conspicuous to the class, and that is something which can be helpful for students who might feel that they are singled out. In a classroom, we do not have students of equal caliber. So if you have a student who's been left out, you can cater to his needs and requirements also. And differentiation is always going to be a matter of creative problem solving. You have to use the creative skills. The creative skills of the facilitator comes into play here. So with or without tools like Google Classroom, one is able to solve problems quite easily. So luckily, a lot of teachers share their tips and tricks and creative solutions online, and you can bring them here to play. So that is how one teacher can use a Google Classroom for to support in differentiation to the classroom here. So how can families and parents stay in loop with Google Class? As I've already explained earlier, you use the Guardian option in this Google Classroom, and therefore Google Classroom has option for teachers to send out updates about the students' classwork. Google refers to parents and families as guardians. I've already talked about it, who can opt in to receive email summaries about missing work, upcoming work, and other class activities. You don't need to have a PTM here in the college hall. The PTM can be taken care of at your own end. There is no need for us to come in the college hall, talk to the students there, or tell the parents that their students are not coming. Directly, you can do that from your Google Classrooms. How can I make Google Classroom more engaging and interactive for my students? Of course, there are plenty of things which you can do. There are Google Docs slides, there are YouTube videos. We will be using that. There are screencasts which you can use. There are responding to a reading assignment. Suppose it is a reading assignment you have done, probably in a poetry class or probably in a dramatic class you're doing it. So you reading assignment you can do with a video clip, or you are drawing that shows their thinking. You can use the Jamboard sessions for that, for drawing, especially in the science faculty, and especially in botany and zoology, where you need to draw your diagrams. So it gives you an opportunity to draw them, draw and show. And since this drawing is done in virtual mode, it is much more interactive, and you can use that to engage your students in your class. So if you're looking at the interactive hub of students, you can consider this on Google Classroom. The stream page, of course, gives an opportunity for each one of us to announce whatever what we want from our students, and the students can also communicate back to us. The stream feed is where everyone in the classroom can find announcements and upcoming assignments. And it is the first thing students will see when they log in. Alice Keeler, a well-known blogger, writes extensively about the Google Classroom and recommends using the stream post to post your class agenda, and also suggests using Screencastify to post videos for students. Finally, this is the Google Chrome browser. When we use the Google Chrome browser, I'll show it to you. This is the Google Chrome browser. See, once You see, this is the Google Chrome browser. All the bundle which Google has for you in a classroom is here. See, my main account, the drive, the docs, the sheet, the slides, the calendar, chat, even Google Meet is here, the sites, even my contacts, whatever contacts I have here will come here. Then I can use the YouTube, the maps, the news, photos, and you can see the Jamboard. I've been talking about the Jamboard. Jamboard is also, you only need to click it and it will become active and you can use that. The Google also uses its Google Earth. Specifically, this can be useful for geography students. They can use this particular app here if they are, and you can use certain things from here which Google gives you. And of course, collection is all the books and EPUBs and online literature which Google gives. It is a library which you can engage, which is freely available to your students, and you can use that. Right. So these are certain apps. There's Google Translate. There's a Blogger. The Drive is there. The Google Keep is there. Google Maps are there. Google Books are there. Google Docs are there. Most of you are familiar with these. And I hope I don't need to explain them, but I will take them up if you feel that there is a need for me to explain these things with you. I will take up in my next class. If you want me to do that, I can do that. And finally, I gave you a glimpse of Google Drive. I already did this with you. You see, the Google Drive is directly connected to your class. You can up file and folder you can upload in the Google Docs, the sheets, the forms, drawings, all these things are connected to your Google Drive. You need to just use the Google Drive. The space is used. Your own space is not hampered at the server end. Whatever Google Drive gives space, you are using that space. And from your own cloud space, you can use these different tools in your Google Classroom. Right? There are some other interesting stuff for all of us to explore. This is just for you. I have put in, there are comics and cartoons. There are apps which you can use that. You can use geographical locations with My Maps. You can use thinking hats, content, and use them for visible and generate questions about the content. It is a very good app. You can use that in our classrooms. You can create an interactive drag and drop setting, use drawings. So drawings, as I said, in zoology and botany, you can use that. You can just draw it and drop it, and it can be taken up as an image. You can add text to it, box and labels. You can use it here. So of course, then you have the Jamboards. This is more of ideas in a collaborative space. You can use Jamboards for students also. So suppose if I am drawing, if someone in the botany wants to draw a diagram, he wants the student to draw the other half. So what he she can do is she can draw one portion of the diagram and then collaborate, ask the students to come and draw, and they can come and draw there, virtually draw it out there. So in a way, you are also collaborating with your students. The students are learning in a smarter way. Then you have a virtual tour creator. This is an audio, music, voice recording system, gives you a 360-degree street view images. This is all free. This is all free where Google gives us. Then there are Google Forms for quizzes. Then there's slides. This is the PPTs which we can have in our classroom. Google gives us this slides to work with in your classroom, and even students can put up their PPTs if you want an assignment to up. There are a few other useful apps. I've just listed them. I've just had a word with all of you. You can see them here. I have listed them out for you to see, which we can use in Google Classroom. finally, this is what a Google Classroom looks like at a glance. You have your classes, you have the class code, you have the assignments, you need to attach something, you're attaching it, then you are streaming, you are creating a class, you are also editing or making a copy of your class. We've all done that. You're assessing the feedback, whether you want that feedback, what kind of feedback you've got. And finally, if the assignments has come to you, you return those assignments and work back. That is all for today. I hope you've had an interactive hands-on session. And if there are any questions or difficulties you feel you are free to ask, you are free to ask. And if you want, I can take up the questions tomorrow also. If you want me to show them again to you, I can do that again. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me and this session.
Thank you, Rohit, for the session. And the link and the joining details of the next session will be sent to you soon. And I'm sure that we will continue to participate in these sessions and continue to enhance our digital skills, which are required of us for being effective as teachers. Have a good evening.